Hello, I'm Michael Brooke and I'm here to tell you about the third instalment in a series of recent and contemporary Polish films to be screened at Waterman's on the big screen and followed by an online discussion which I'll be hosting. Now, there are plenty of famous Polish directors who ended up extensively or even mostly working abroad. Waleria Borowczyk, Agnieszka Holland, Roman Polanski, Jerzy Skolimowski, Andrzej Żuławski all spring to mind. But a situation where a non-Polish filmmaker ends up working mostly in Poland is much rarer. Magnus von Horn is in fact Swedish, but he studied filmmaking at the famous Łódź Film School, and both his features to date have been Polish-Swedish co-productions. His debut, The Hereafter, was actually in his native Swedish, although the credits behind the camera are mainly Polish. It's about a young man, John, who returns to live with his father and younger brother and carry on his education where it left off, but it gradually becomes apparent that he's become a social pariah because of something terrible that he did 2 years earlier, for which he was locked up in a young offenders institution. We never precisely learn what John did, as von Horn is much more interested in the aftermath and the many ways in which it affected people, not least John himself. And this sense of the here and now and the constant need to move forward with one's life also dominates his second feature, Sweat. Now this time it's in Polish and set in Poland, and it's about someone who at first sight seems to be totally different from the withdrawn, taciturn John. But is she? Have a look at the trailer.
Kochani, na pewno znacie ten moment, kiedy budzicie się, a wasze ciało jeszcze śpi, a umysł śni. Sprzedam wam w tym momencie najlepszy sposób na poranny, przyjemny trening.
Jest piękna, młoda, zdolna i pełna energii. Drodzy Państwo, Sylwia Zając. Objawienie w świecie fitnessu, można powiedzieć.
Ile masz już followersów?
Jakieś 600 000 na tą chwilę.
Słuchajcie, proponuję zdrowie Sylwii.
No i mamy, która ją wychowała.
Wszystko w porządku?
A dlaczego pytasz?
A byłaś ostatnio na pudelku?
Nie.
Kochani, chciałam wam jeszcze raz bardzo podziękować za dzisiejszy trening, za to, że ze mną się spociliście. I w takich chwilach, jak dzisiejszy dzień, czuję, że jesteśmy jednością.
Widzisz ten samochód tutaj zaparkowany? A nie wydaje ci się, że ktoś tam siedzi w środku? Co? Mi się wydaje, że to jest mój stalker.
Zrobiłabym jeden klik i to wszystko by zniknęło. Tak po prostu.
Co się na mnie, kurwa, gapisz? Zboczeńcu jebany!
Po prostu też bym chciała mieć kogoś bliskiego, kogoś, kto wziąłby mnie za rękę i powiedział do mnie: Sylwia, kochanie, wszystko będzie dobrze.
Now, Sylwia isn't just a fitness instructor, she's a social media influencer, which means that she's more or less required to live a huge chunk of her life online for the delectation of her 600,000 followers. She's constantly whipping out her phone to record an up-to-date message for them. But paradoxically, this constant, meticulously controlled image building gives her very little time or psychological space to have a fulfilling life of her own. When she lets her guard slip and records a deeply personal and indeed tearful message about how lonely she is, it becomes a viral internet sensation in its own right. And the higher her profile, the more people feel they're entitled to encroach on her privacy, including a full-blown stalker. So it's a modern cautionary tale about the dangers of addiction to fame and social media, but it's also a compelling character study, helped enormously by Magdalena Kolesnik's bravura performance of Sylwia. It's exhausting to watch her at times, such as her determination to always be on, but the more that we get to know her, the more we realise just how much she herself is aware of how much damage she's doing to herself. In many ways, it's a classic study of addiction, even if the substances involved aren't alcoholic or chemical. Now, the Watermans will be showing Sweat on the big screen on Tuesday 24th of August, and on Wednesday 25th I'll be hosting a free online discussion at 8 p.m, as it seems all too appropriate to use social media to explore this particular film. And I look forward to seeing you then.